Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing today on this Wednesday, December the 9th, 2020? Welcome to yet another Metallica episode of Music of Destruction, bringing you guys the best in metal-related content right here on YouTube. If you missed anything in the past week, just click the eye in the upper right corner of the screen. Get caught up on all my latest videos. I would greatly appreciate it. If you'd like me to review anything, please drop it in the comments section down below, and I will gladly consider it. I already have a list of requests that other people have made, with the exception I don't allow slammer deathcore because I hate those fucking genres. I want to welcome you guys to Album Ranking Wednesdays here on Music of Destruction, and tonight I am doing Metallica Albums Ranked from my least favorite to my favorite. Now, I hardly think that any hard rock or heavy metal fan really needs an introduction to Metallica because, let's face it, they are, after all, the biggest heavy metal band in the world, and they really paved the way for so many other bands to become successful in the genre. And their impact and influence is undeniable, to say the least. I mean, you think about any big band, or any band that's made it in music, in metal I should say at all, and they will cite Metallica as one of their biggest influences, and rightfully so, because their impact, like I said, is undeniable. Though now I would hardly call them the same band that they were back in the 80s, and I feel in a lot of ways Metallica became the products of their corporate environments within what you and I commonly refer to as the music industry, unfortunately, because the first four Metallica albums are top quality thrash metal with a lot of emotion and conviction and a very powerful message that they were bringing forth during those times, even when Jason Newsted would go on to replace Cliff Burton for the album And Justice for All, though that all changed when they wrote the Black Album. Now, this record saw them moving in a much more commercial, radio-friendly direction, unfortunately. And I mean, let's face facts, folks. The money got to them, and it inadvertently changed the band forever. One could also argue that Cliff Burton's untimely passing changed the band for the worst long before the big money ever became a factor. And I do agree with both of these factors becoming contributing aspects that led to the band's massive climb to radio-friendly status, unfortunately. I mean, you can put almost any hard rock or heavy metal station on now, and you will hear Metallica. It's just inevitable at this point. And I don't really agree with them doing a fucking cover with Lady Gaga or a song with Lady Gaga. I thought that was really fucked up for a band of this caliber, even though they're not the same band they were, but they still have some very fundamental heavy metal roots and thrash metal in their most recent albums, Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct. So you gotta wonder where this decision came from to do a fucking pop song with Lady Gaga. I don't really understand it. Maybe one of you could shed some light on that in the comments section. Alright, so let's get into the ranking here, shall we? Coming in at number 12, we have the absolute garbage album, Saint Anger, released in 2003 on Vertigo Records. This is an album that I can't even spend more than 15 minutes listening to because I really hate how contrived it sounds, how desperate it sounds. It sounds like they had no inspiration for fucking recording this other than contractual obligations. And you could definitely hear that in the music. Yeah, there's some songs that are, I would say, tolerable at best, but this was definitely not a Metallica outing that I feel even deserves to be on the fucking list. But nonetheless, this is an Albums Ranked video after all. But yeah, Saint Anger is complete garbage, comes in at number 12. Coming in at number 11, we have Reload, released in 1997 on Elektra Records. And this was a rock album for Metallica, and I never really liked that switch where they went from heavy metal thrash to hard rock. Now, I understand the band was trying different things at this time. They had a different producer. Maybe they had a different vision for these types, for Load and Reload. But Reload, to me, is just another one of those albums that was very uninspired, very contrived, and didn't really have the impact or the emotional depth that other Metallica albums on this list had. Reload gets number 11. Coming in at number 10, we have Load, released in 1996 on Elektra Records. And again, Load was one of those albums that someone would put on and I'd listen to with whoever liked it, but I never really got into the album. I don't really like anything on it. I can tolerate it at best. It's okay for what it is, but again, this is a fucking thrash metal band trying to do hard rock during this time with these two albums, and I could never really understand that such a dramatic shift in approach, aesthetics, emotional composition and instrumentation, and it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Load gets number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Garage Inc., released in 1998 on Elektra Records. This was a complete covers album, and there's a lot of good stuff on here. There's some great bands that they cover, great material they chose to do on this album, and I really dig this one quite a bit. It's a big shift from Saint Anger, Load, and Reload, which is why it gets number 9 on the list, and I don't really mind this record. I think a lot of what they covered on here were bands that they were inspired by, and you can definitely hear that. The influences there on Garage Inc. It's a pretty decent album. Coming in at number 8, we have Metallica, the Black Album, released in 1991 on Elektra Records, produced by Bob Rock. This album kind of had some thrash elements and some heavy metal elements, but again was leaning more towards a hard rock album. And yeah, there's some pretty good songs on here, but again, it's not one that I find myself coming back to very much. It's not as memorable as I'd like it to be, but it's not super forgettable either. So it kind of gets that meh for me, kind of in the mid-range. Number 8, the Black Album. Coming in at number 7, we have Death Magnetic, released in 2008 on Warner Brothers Records. And this saw Metallica moving back towards those roots a lot more, though they still had some of those hard rock aesthetics going on, some of that instrumentation from previous releases that saw them, shifting their style. But I do think Death Magnetic is a pretty fucking great album. There are some great bangers on this one that I headbang to quite regularly, and I do enjoy this album, Death Magnetic, number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have their most recent release with Hardwired to Self-Destruct, released in 2016 on Blackened Recordings, which is now their own label. This one was a big shift for Metallica fans. This one brought back those elements of their first 4 albums, but of course with a modern take and a modern feel, modern production, which I'm not a big fan of. But this album definitely was the resurgence that die-hard Metallica fans were looking for, and I think they really delivered on this album with everything they said that they would. It's got a lot of great thrash moments on here, some pretty fast, heavy songs, though James's vocals have suffered over the years, and I don't think that he's delivering the powerful, visceral, emotion that he was delivering on the first 4 records, but it's a decent album. Coming in at number 6, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Coming in at number 5, we have And Justice for All, released in 1988 on Elektra Records. The first album with Jason Newsted. And the only complaint I have about this record is, of course, the super clean production. You can't hear Jason Newsted's fucking bass anywhere, which is a damn shame because he's an amazing bassist. It's a good album. A lot of great bangers on this one. Very memorable. Just not a big fan of that super thin, clean production that they lost a lot of the greatness on, but it's still a decent album. Coming in at number 4, we have Garage Days, released in 1987 on Elektra Records. This was another covers album by Metallica, their first one, and they covered a lot of old school stuff on this album, ranging from hardcore punk to the new wave of British heavy metal to some thrash metal and some other stuff they explored on this album. Am I Evil made an appearance on this one, if you get the extended edition. It's a great fucking album for what it is, a great covers album, and I really enjoy Garage Days. It's fucking awesome. Coming in at number 3, we have the absolutely legendary Master of Puppets, released in 1986 on Elektra Records. This was the first Metallica album I heard, the first Metallica album I ever owned, and I remember being 12 years old when I got this, and I was fucking blown away. It's still one of my favorite Metallica albums of all time, one of my favorite thrash metal records of all time. It's heavy, it's fast, it's dark, it's aggressive, it's emotional, it's powerful, it's convicted. This is the Metallica that everybody remembers. This is the Metallica that everybody loves. This is a great album, Master of Puppets. Coming in at number 2, Ride the Lightning, released in 1984 on Megaforce Records. The follow-up to Kill 'Em All. And this album more than adequately made up for maybe a little bit of the lack of creative direction on Kill 'Em All, but it's still... Kill 'Em All is my favorite album, obviously, but Ride the Lightning really saw this band coming into their own, and it's fucking amazing. Some of Cliff Burton's greatest bass work is on Ride the Lightning. This has so many memorable songs that it is literally an unforgettable, timeless masterpiece, Ride the Lightning. Coming in at number 1, Kill 'Em All, released in 1983 on Megaforce Records, my favorite fucking Metallica album, because it wasn't planned as well as the rest. It's a lot more loose feeling, it's a lot more organic feeling. It's not super focused, but it is very emotional, passionate, convicted, heavy, dark. It's fucking the best Metallica album of all time, and I really love the Am I Evil cover on this one as well. This is just the greatest Metallica album in my opinion. Where it started, I know No Life Till Metal and No Life Till Leather were a couple of their demos, but their first full-length, Kill 'Em All, absolutely amazing. I believe Dave Mustaine wrote the majority of the material here, which is just fine. This is a great fucking album. Kill 'Em All gets number 1. Alright guys, so there you have it, another album ranking in the books here on Music of Destruction, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy today's video. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss anything when I post a new video. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Music of Destruction. Join the Facebook group, facebook.com, /groups/Music of Destruction. The Seed episode 27, History of Death Metal Part 3 up on Patreon. Trying to figure out what I'm covering next. Going to be getting to that on the weekend for just $5 a month. You can support, help me out there, get access to the podcast. $1 a month will get you shoutouts on my channel and access to possible collaborations and things like that. But you got to be making similar content for me to collaborate with you, though I would love to collaborate with some other metal YouTubers, so reach out to me if you would enjoy collaborations. Your support goes to new things like equipment, lighting, green screen stuff, obviously, better hardware, all that cool stuff, so thank you very much, and it helps me to continue doing this. Colton James and myself going to be doing our first movie review. We're working on getting better equipment. We want to get 2 high-end cameras for the living room, some softbox lights. We got a great big green screen we're going to be using out there, and just a soundboard so that we can do the mixing and everything and switch camera angles. It's going to be a lot of work to get that put together, but we're excited for it. Movie and game reviews. Let's check out a clip that he made recently.
Story, guys. Looks like I lost him. There's no sign of him anywhere.
And guys, we are back. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And have yourselves a great night. We will see you in the next video. Cheers, everybody.